In this class, we will be focusing on the 5th chakra, Vishuddha, or throat chakra. So a lot of opening in the upper back and shoulders during this sequence. Starting in diamond pose, we're just going to gently sit back onto our heels. Maybe close your eyes and just start to breathe, focusing on deepening the inhales and the exhales through your nose. Maybe adding some neck rolls or just simply sitting in stillness, whatever your body is asking for. Vishuddha is connected to a higher form of communication rooted from truth and faith. The expression of this truth requires the 1st through 4th chakras to be in balance. And when it is in balance, it can be expressed by silence. When you're ready, go ahead and interlace your fingers. Bring your knuckles under your chin. As you inhale, look up and bring elbows up. Exhale, start to round your spine as your elbows come back down. And just doing this a few times on your own. On your next exhale, go ahead and release your hands. Bring your right ear to your right shoulder, then your chin to your chest, and your left ear to your left shoulder. And your chin to your chest, right ear to right shoulder. One more time, chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder. Chin to chest. And then once your head is tilted to the right, go ahead and straighten out your left arm to the side and keep your palm flexed, maybe bringing your right hand to your chest. We're stretching the median nerve here, which runs from your neck all the way to your hands. This one always feels a little funny for me. I have really tight shoulders. Go ahead and do the same thing on the opposite side. So right hand out to the right, palm is flexed, and your head is tilted to the left. We're going to gently release and then make our way into tabletop position, so you're on your knees and your hands, adding any movement that your body wants. Inhale, cow pose, drop your belly, gaze up towards the sky. Exhale, cat, round your spine, chin to your chest, really pushing into the mat with your hands. Inhale, cow, making sure we're not sinking into those shoulders. And then exhale, cat. Doing this a few times with your own breath. Adding any movement. It could be spinal rolls, it could be swaying your hips from side to side. Again, just listening to your body, whatever it needs. Then on your next inhale, we're going to lift our left arm up towards the sky, roll out your wrist, and then thread it behind the right arm, coming onto your left shoulder and cheek. Maybe, if it feels comfortable, walking your right arm towards the top of your mat. And if you want to go even deeper, maybe walking your fingers towards the left. Finding your drishti here, which in Sanskrit means one pointed focus. And just breathe. And just gently start to unwind. Bring your right hand back on the mat, left arm towards the sky, roll out the wrist. And then same thing on the other side, right hand towards the sky, roll out the wrist and thread it behind the left, coming onto the right shoulder. Whatever you did on the first side, go ahead and match it on the opposite side, adding balance. And gently unwinding, coming back into tabletop just as a transitional pose. And we're going to meet in puppy dog pose. So walk your hands towards the top of your mat, dip your chest, and maybe bring your chin or forehead onto the mat, keeping your hips straight up and really pushing into the mat with your hands. If you want an even deeper shoulder stretch, you can maybe tent onto your fingertips and just let your chest sink towards the mat. Then slowly making your way onto your belly, however you want to get there. And we're going to start to do some low cobra, high cobra spinal rolls. Bring your hands beside your ribs, maybe tent onto your fingertips, drop your head, and then start to straighten into the arms. And as you come all the way to the top, arch your back, look up towards the sky, and then start to bend in the elbows again, dropping your head towards the mat. Once again, straightening into the arms, head is the last thing to come up. Making sure your shoulders are down your back, gaze up towards the sky, and then exhale, start to lower, bend into the elbows, drop your head. Strong inhale, tuck your toes and push your hips up, coming into downward dog. Pushing it into the mat with your hands, bringing your chest towards your thighs, maybe bending one knee at a time, walking out the dog, or any movement that you like. Then we're going to roll our way into high cobra, so pushing off the tippy toes, we're going to round our spine, keeping your arms straight, dip your hips, and then gaze up towards the sky, dropping your legs towards the mat, then bending your elbows, and same thing, we're going to go low cobra to high cobra. So inhale, straighten your arms, head is the last thing to come up, and then exhale, making your way back into low cobra, bending the elbows, dropping your head, and then tucking your toes, lifting your hips, making your way into downward dog, and just repeating that same flow. So rolling into high cobra, dropping the hips, gazing up towards the sky, come all the way down into low cobra, forehead to the mat, push up into high cobra, shoulders are down your back, gaze up towards the sky, slowly roll into low cobra, forehead to the mat, tuck your toes, lift your hips up into downward dog, strong foundation in the hands and feet, and then lift your right leg up towards the sky, coming into three-legged dog, opening up your hip, keeping your foot flexed, and then bending into your knee, taking a round of breath here, and when you're ready, we're going to step your right foot in between your hands, coming into low lunge, dropping our left knee, coming onto the top of our left foot, strong inhale, arms come towards the sky, gaze up towards the sky, add a back bend if that feels comfortable, and maybe cactus out the arms. And on your next exhale, hands come back onto the mat, framing that front foot and straightening into that front leg, coming into half split, folding all the way over. If the ground is too far or this is a little too intense, you could always put your hands on blocks. Taking a round of breath here, and on your next inhale, we're going to bend into our front knee, coming into low lunge, shining our heart forward and gazing up towards the sky. Exhale, half split, making sure our hips stay in line and we're not leaning to one side. And you want to make sure you have a micro bend in that front knee. Now inhale, bend your knee, once again coming into low lunge, shine your chest forward, and then tuck your back toes, lift your left knee off the mat, and then bring your hands up towards the sky. Strong foundation in the legs here, focusing on the breath, and then bending into your left knee, tapping it to the mat just for a second, and then lifting into that back leg again, coming into crescent lunge, arching your spine, cactusing your arms, and shining your heart forward. Then exhale, straighten into both legs, pushing off of your back toes. And with control, start to come down and frame that front foot, coming into modified pyramid, stepping your back foot forward a little bit if you need to, and just folding over your front leg. Your hips may want to fall to the right here. Make sure they're staying squared. Pushing into your back toes, bending into your front knee, and then gently lifting your left leg off of the mat, making an L shape with the legs, keeping your left foot flexed, and then maybe if it's possible, walking your hands back towards your right foot while lifting your left leg higher towards the sky. Then bending into that left knee, slowly stepping it down, coming into chair pose, sweep both arms up towards the sky, sit back like you're in a chair, and keep everything active. From here, arch your spine, cactus out your arms, shine your chest forward, and then straighten your arms around your spine, cat-like with the back. Again, cactus your arms, keeping your knees bent, and then interlacing your hands behind your back, straightening your legs, and folding all the way forward. Keeping your fingers interlaced and just letting your hands fall towards the mat, really bending forward with your lower back. Take an inhale here, and on your next exhale, gently release your hands, bring them to the mat, straighten your spine coming into halfway lift, and then fold all the way forward. And just gently step both feet back, coming into downward dog, pushing into the mat with our hands, bringing our chest towards our thighs, and maybe bending one knee at a time. adding any movement that your body needs. Then spinal roll here, push off with your toes, tuck your chin, round your spine, and inhale, coming into upward dog, gaze up towards the sky, shoulders are down your back, keeping your legs active here, and then on your next exhale, bend into your knees, lift your hips, coming into downward dog, pushing your chest back towards your thighs, and one more spinal roll into upward dog, shine your heart forward, keeping your knees off of the mat, taking a round of breath here, and then bending your knees, pushing up into downward dog. Inhaling here, and then exhale, lift your left leg up towards the sky, keeping it as straight as possible. And then opening it up, stacking the hips, bringing a bend into your left leg, keeping your left foot flex. On your next exhale, square out your hips and step your left leg in between your hands towards the top of your mat. Drop your right knee and the top of your right foot. Inhale, strong core, hands come up above your head towards the sky, really pushing into the top of that right foot. And then if it's comfortable, cactusing your arms, adding a back bend. And then exhale, bring your hands back onto the mat, straighten into that front left leg, flex your toes back towards your face, and just folding over here. Connecting with the breath. And once again, walking your hands towards the top of your mat, bending into that left knee, shining your heart forward and gazing up towards the sky. And then half split, straightening your front leg, flexing your toes back towards your face, making sure your hips are staying squared. Then again, walking your hands towards the top of your mat, bending into that left knee, but this time tuck your right toes, lift your right knee off of the ground, bringing your hands towards the sky, really using the strength of your legs to hold yourself up. Take a round of breath here, and on your next exhale, bend into that right knee, just tap it on the mat, and then inhale, straighten into that right leg, cactusing your arms, adding a back bend here if that's comfortable. And then teeing out your arms, straightening into that front leg, modified pyramid, push off of your back toes, and frame your left foot with your hands. You can step your right foot forward to shorten the stance a bit if the ground is too far away from you. And then just adding any movement here that you would like. Keeping a micro bend in that front knee. Taking your last round of breath in this pose, and on your next exhale, we're going to bend into our front knee and kick our right foot straight out behind us, keeping the foot flexed. And then if you want to go deeper, maybe lengthen your right leg up towards the sky, coming into half split. Inhaling here, and on your next exhale, step your right foot to meet your left, bending your knees, coming into chair pose. With a strong core, reach your hands up towards the sky, and just holding this here. I know it's uncomfortable, you can do it. While staying low, reach your arms back behind you, interlace your fingers, and then just start to straighten into your legs. Fold all the way forward, keeping a micro bend into the knees, and just let your arms hang heavy. Gently release them, bring them down to the mat, and then step both feet back, coming into Palikasana or plank pose, puffing up your shoulder blades, making sure your hips don't dip towards the mat. Holding this, you can always put your knees down if it's a little too intense. And then from here, coming into Ashtanga Pranam, dropping your knees, your chin, your chest to the mat. Taking a round of breath here, and on your next inhale, straighten your arms, bring the tops of your feet to the mat and your knees just a few inches above the mat, maybe swaying your hips side to side, gazing up towards the sky. And then exhale, open your knees, touch your big toes, and bring your hips back to your heels, child's pose. Resting here. Maybe massaging your third eye onto the mat. We're going to make our way into modified camel. So coming up onto your knees, maybe walk towards the middle of your mat, and then take your palms, place them on your lower back with the fingers pointing towards your glutes. And we're just going to gently push our hips forward with our hands. Inhale, lift your sternum and gently gaze towards the sky. Breathing here, holding this for just a few more moments. And when you're ready, gently release and just sit back onto your heels, coming into diamond pose. If this is too much on your knees, you can always sit on blocks or just sit crisscross in lotus pose. Closing your eyes, just resting your hands on your thighs and preparing yourself for full camel. When you're ready, come up onto your knees And we have a few options here. So the first option is to put your palms on your lower back like we just did. The second option is to reach for one ankle, bringing the opposite arm up towards the sky. And the third option is full camel if it's accessible and not too much strain on your lower back. So inhale, lift your sternum and gently place your hands on your ankles. This pose is great for balancing your throat chakra. Just breathing here, holding this for just a few more moments. And on your next inhale, gently come up, release, and sit down onto your mat. Straighten your right leg out in front of you, bringing your left foot to the outside of your right thigh and locking your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist, repeating that breath to movement. When you're ready, go ahead and switch legs. So left leg goes out in front of you, bring your right foot to the outside of your left thigh, and hook your left arm to the outside of your right knee. Again, inhale to lengthen, exhale, twist. And just gently releasing, stretching both legs out in front of you. Inhale, reach your arms up, bring length into your spine. And as we exhale and fold over, we want to lead with our chest. Reaching forward, maybe grabbing your shins, your toes. If you're a little bit more flexible, you could always put a block against your feet and wrap your hands around the block. And just resting here. Camel pose is not easy. Release all that tension from your lower back. Let your body sink towards the mat. And when you're ready, gently rolling up, bring your sits bones to the middle of the mat and take your peace fingers, wrap them around your big toes, straighten into your legs, and just gently roll back, bringing your legs overhead and your glutes up towards the sky. You can bend into your knees here and maybe bring them to meet your ears. If it feels comfortable, just stretching out your arms behind you and just staying here for a moment. And when you're ready, slowly roll all the way down onto your mat, one vertebra by vertebra, coming into your final pose, shavasana, taking up all the space on your mat, closing your eyes, and just imagining a balloon inside of your belly. Every time you inhale, you're bringing air into the balloon. Every time you exhale, it's deflating. Maybe lengthening your breath, or just letting your breath be. Letting your mind take a break. When you're ready, coming back to the body, slowly start to bring movement into your fingers, into your toes. And then we're just going to bend into our right knee and bring it to the left side of our body. Same thing with the left knee. Bring it to the right side of our body, stretching into that spine. And then however you want to, coming up into seated. Maybe keeping your eyes closed. Finding a comfortable seat. And we are going to set up for bumblebee breath, which is great for the throat chakra. So take your middle and ring fingers, gently place them on your eyelids. Rest your pointer fingers on your forehead and your pinkies on your cheekbones. Take a deep, steady inhale. And on the exhale, make a loud humming sound with your voice, but keep your mouth closed as you do so. So it's going to sound like this. Repeat this on your own for 3 to 5 breaths. And on your next inhale, we're going to bring our palms together and just start rubbing them together. Feeling heat form, creating energy in between them. Rub, rub, rub. And then bring them a few inches apart, feeling the resistance in between your hands. Now imagine you can see this energy. Give it a color, a name, a feeling. Now hold the big ball of energy from the bottom and then place it into your throat chakra. Seeing all this good energy flow throughout your body. Now maybe placing your hands onto your knees and just taking one last big inhale and then exhale, letting it all go. A quote that I would like to end today's class with: we all serve as a vessel to be messengers for one another. Are you sharing the messages you are desired to speak? Someone is waiting to hear your words. Nanette Matthews. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, yogis. Namaste.